it's my great pleasure today to be speaking with Mardi Fair, and Mardi is a member of the Columbia Garden Club, as was my mother and as is my sister. So, what a wonderful tradition to be speaking with you. And Mardi, y'all have another wonderful tradition besides mothers and daughters and grandmothers all being members of this club, of decorating the governor's mansion, which then is usually so graciously open to the public to see your lovely work. But this year things are very different. And Nancy Butch, who's our liaison with the governor's mansion, called and asked if we could do this so that we can still let the citizens of South Carolina see your beautiful work there. So tell us who all was involved in working in your committee and what the theme was of this year.
Well, first of all, thank you, Amanda, for having me on your show. It's such a blessing and an honor. I'm a fan of yours and a fan of making it grow. But yes, our theme this year was Home for the Holidays. We know right now we're in the middle of the COVID pandemic, and so a lot of people are dealing with restrictions on travel. Most people are staying home. They're not having the big parties that they're used to having. We're not having big parties at the mansion this year like they do every year. So we kind of stuck with that with our theme, Home for the Holidays, and tried to keep things simple and back to basics. We tried not to do, instead of large floral arrangements that may have been done in the past, instead we try to limit things to just simple arrangements that wouldn't have to be refreshed. So a lot of what you see is greenery instead of floral.
Even though we are doing things differently this year, it doesn't mean that we can't have our traditions. And so we see that y'all continued with the traditions. It's just that you did them a little differently. And they are absolutely beautiful. And I'd like to start with, of course, I think we are so fortunate that our governor's mansion is situated in such a beautiful landscape. And y'all certainly started the welcoming at the outdoors. You've got little small conifers there, lots of red ribbons, lots of greenery. And I just love what you did with Santa Claus's boot. What in the world was that? Who thought of that?
Well, thank you. That was, I saw those in a store, and I called my co-chair. My co-chair is Gwen Pruitt, and we were both in charge of the decorating committee, and we've never decorated the mansion before, so this was new to both of us. But I said, Gwen, I think I found the perfect thing for the lamppost. I said, I can get some something to tie them up there, and we could hang a stocking from each lantern and put some greenery in the stocking. I said, it'll be perfect. And so that's what we did. We've got the stockings. We've got in each stocking, we have a little palmetto frond. We have some other little greenery in there. We tried to do something that we wouldn't have to replace or replenish.
Yes.
So hopefully they'll hold up through the holidays. And we just thought that was a little touch. And then my co-chair Gwen said we need a bow on them. So we did the red bow just to add some pop. So
it just looks lovely. And then as we enter the mansion, again, you've got simple greenery around the door, a little bit of green bows, and then a nice wreath. And then we walk in, of course, the living room is where the tree is. And what a beautiful tree you have there. And the mantle also is so lovely. Talk about some of the things y'all did there, please.
Well, thank you. We had some very talented ladies work on the mantles this year, and I am not included in that very talented list. But they took, again, mostly South Carolina. We have the garland, but then they took palmetto leaves, that palmetto frond, again, the smaller one, the magnolia leaves, boxwood, pittosporum, and they put it together in that amazing arrangement. How they were able to get the garland around that mirror, I'm still amazed. But
it is so pretty. And then under the tree, you've got coordinated packages, but there's a little stuffed animal up there that seems to be a favorite of one of the family members, the four-legged family member.
That's correct. That was a tribute to Mac. It is supposed to be a bulldog stuffed animal in honor of Mac, and it can be for Mac for Christmas. So we had to stick something under the tree to honor him. We also have a little rocking horse on the other side, because to me, a tree is beautiful, but it's even prettier when you see gifts under it.
Yes, it is. It is. And then we have such a lovely entrance hall and stairwell, and that stairwell always has a garland on it. And this year you did it too. It's not quite as elaborate, but it's very effective. And then the table that that is right across from that has done beautifully. Again, though, y'all are using lots of greenery, traditional greenery that we use in South Carolina. And we go into the room where Governor Haley's portrait is. And I think the way y'all wove that beautiful gold ribbon in feminized that garland so much.
It is beautiful. Thank you. Again, we had some help from wonderful garden club members, and the way they did the magnolia, that's picked right off the grounds of the governor's mansion, and wrapped it with the garland and the gold ribbon. They really tied it in, and they used some gold balls to decorate, and it really ties in with the color of the portrait too, and with
it does.
And it helps bring it all together. And I want to give credit again to Nancy Bunch, who kind of runs and manages the mansion, and she's done that for as long as I can remember in the grounds, and she helps cut a lot of the greenery. So a lot of that greenery is actually from the grounds, especially the palmetto fronds, the magnolia.
She's delightful to work with. They're very
she is delightful. She's so much fun, and she's a pleasure to be with. So I want to give her credit.
And the creche is just beautiful. And I love the way you put pine cones around it. It's truly lovely.
Well, thank you. Some of those, we try to get most of those pine cones from South Carolina, but they are a nice touch. And you see a little bit of garland around there too. So.
Yes. And we have such a beautiful dining room. And the McMaster family will, of course, have their immediate family there. And so y'all wanted it to last long, and I think what you did was you used some of the beautiful silver at the mansion and let that be your containers and kind of give you the glitz that you needed, and kept the arrangements a little simpler than usual, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. We left most of the candelabras in place. I'm a huge fan of candelabras, and I feel like they're gorgeous in and of themselves, but when you add greenery around them, it just makes a beautiful setting. So we left the candelabras on the dining room table. They just did a simple arrangement in little bowls with holly, cedar, and berry arrangements. And one of the requests and the issues they've had before is when you have a dinner and the arrangement is so big and so beautiful, you can't see the other people at the table. So we wanted to give them something that they could still gather their family around the table to eat, but yet they could see each other. They can move the bowls or the candelabra if they shorten or lengthen the table. If you notice that table is able to be adjusted in size, so they can feel free to move their arrangements to fit the number of people that are eating and how they can seat everyone, but also to allow everyone to visually see each other.
We have portraits of many of the governors on display in the mansion, and under Governor Campbell's portrait, used a lot of colorful Christmas tree balls. I love to use color. I love the way you did that. I thought it really picked the room up.
Well, thank you. I can't take credit for it, though. I really gave some of the garden club members free reign. We gave them all these materials, these South Carolina grown plants, and we said, you make this how you want to make it. And so that was done by one of our members, and she did a great job. She incorporated magnolia leaves right from the grounds. She had garland, and she took those Christmas balls and added them in. It really does look good.
And there are little touches here and there throughout, and we'll of course show all the pictures that y'all so kindly sent us. One thing that really touched me was you said that the staff borrowed a little bit of greenery, and they set up a room with sweet treats for the people who we really do hold dearest and in our hearts with gratitude. And those are the essential workers, housekeepers, people who have to go to work every day, and the doctors and nurses. And I thought that was such a lovely touch that y'all work together to have that reminder of those to whom we should be particularly grateful.
That was a sweet touch by the staff. Normally they do a large gingerbread house. Instead, they decided to do that small tribute to the first responders, including teachers, like you said, doctors, nurses, and different people. And it's got candy, assorted candy, and it also has a little bit of greenery that they used, and we think they did a great job.
Well, there's so much to talk about, and I want to thank you for the time that y'all spent. The long hours. I see that y'all were wearing masks or face shields, following all the proper precautions. And is there something that we've forgotten to mention that maybe we need to give a special shout out to?
Yes, ma'am. Two quick things. One is that the tree in the front den living room that was decorated. My sister is a member of the garden club, Graham Smith, and she was in charge of that, and she did a great job. The new members decorate it, so she actually just helped assist them. And they use a lot of the ornaments are South Carolina made by South Carolina artists, so those are
Oh,
featured on the tree. So that's a little nice touch, a tribute to South Carolina. And I also wanted to thank Governor McMaster and the First Lady, Mrs. McMaster, who were very gracious to open up their beautiful home to us, to allow us to decorate and to kind of be in their way. We had boxes and leaves and we had everything everywhere, but they were so kind to let us come in and do that. So thank you. And thank you for having me on your show.
they are very generous, and I know it means a lot to Mrs. McMaster. She loves to share the beauty of the mansion, and we are glad that we were able to work with you this year and virtually allow our citizens to enjoy the beautiful work that y'all did. And we wish you the very merriest of Christmas and happy holidays to all.
Thank you. Bye, Amanda.